If you're a child of the late 80s, early 90s as I am, one of the fondest memories we have out there is enjoying the Ghostbusters movies. I think there were at least two movies that came out when I was a kid and a teenager. I know there have been some reboots later in life. But more recently, there's been an excellent video game called Ghostbusters the video game, which has been released for pretty much every major platform out there. I mean, if you own a console or a computer, you very likely have a way to play this, regardless of what your hardware of choice is. So in today's video, I'll walk through with you my thoughts on Ghostbusters the video game, whether I think it's worth your time. Let's check it out. So off the bat, Ghostbusters the video game takes place about 2 years after the events of Ghostbusters 2, the movie. Now in this game, you start out as an unnamed rookie recruit that joins the Ghostbusters team. And the opening scenes of the game, there's like a psi emitter, like a seismic blast from a psi emitter that emanates throughout the city. And as part of that, Slimer ends up escaping from Ghostbusters headquarters. And you have to go out with the other Ghostbusters team members to track him down. And as you're tracking him down, you're led to a museum in New York City where there's all sorts of like strange and paranormal activity going on. A lot of different ghosts have come, reappeared. They're running amok throughout the city, wreaking havoc. And you're really tasked with cleaning it up and doing your part to help stabilize the city. So as you're cleaning up things and trying to track down Slimer, you're ultimately led over to the Sedgwick Hotel. And again, more paranormal activity happening, more ghost sightings. What's interesting here is you have a reappearance by the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the movies. And I thought it was really cool how they brought this guy back, and he's like trying to climb up a New York City high-rise, and he's spitting like fire or throwing stuff at you or whatever the heck he's doing. And you know, it's pretty cool. Like, I know that it's all fiction, but it feels pretty intimidating as you're playing through it. It's like, oh man, I hope he doesn't catch me. So I really enjoyed that about it as well. Now, in terms of the Ghostbusters cast, all of the original actors from the movies are here, voicing over their characters. And specifically, this game was written, the story for the game was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, who are from the movies themselves. So it really lends an air of authenticity to the game, the feeling of the game especially, as you're playing as your own unnamed Ghostbuster, along with the voice actors who contributed to the original Ghostbusters film franchise. So as I mentioned, all sorts of stuff's happening, running amok around New York City, all sorts of paranormal activity. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there are a few tie-ins to the movies that come into play into this game. And specifically, as you're tracking down the paranormal activity and trying to figure out what's going on, you realize that what's ultimately happening is that there is the potential for this ghostly world, this ghostly dimension, to merge with the mortal realm. And that's basically what's trying to happen, is ghosts are popping up from different precision points where they come out of a special area, and then once all the areas are kind of like opened up, in theory, the ghost world is going to merge completely with Earth, and we're all doomed. So there are strong tie-ins to the movies, but what's happening is basically you're trying to stop all the ghost paranormal activity and save New York City and the world, like you always do. And of course, you do end up saving the world, but part of the fun is the journey of how you get there. And again, this game, it really felt like an extension of the movies. Like, the voice acting was outstanding. There's all the humor involved with the character dialogue, like what you would expect from the movies. And I had a really good time just kind of like immersing myself in there. And, the Ghostbusters headquarters in New York City, it looks and feels a lot like the movie setting, too. I mean, there's the fireman pole that you can go down. The Ecto-1 is in there. There's the bunk room areas. There's the arcade machine in the corner. Like, it is Ghostbuster headquarters to a T. So I really enjoyed it. I thought the story fit well with the existing movies that are out there. but also did a good job of holding its own as a standalone product. So I was really happy with that. Now, in terms of gameplay, a lot of this focuses on working with the Ghostbusters team members to track down paranormal activity to get to the kind of like whodunit of who all is ultimately responsible for all the paranormal activity and trying to merge the ghost realm with the human realm. So from that perspective, it's a lot of, dare I say, investigative work. So you're running around with your psi emitter and PKE emitters and all that jazz, and it's really cool when you've got like a really big ghost horde coming at you, and all of you've got your laser guns, your psi emitter guns or whatever they're called, out there like blasting the enemies. They got all the quirks like don't cross streams, it'll be catastrophic and all that jazz. So it's really fun how you like beat down or weaken the ghost, and then you've got your little ghost trap box that you throw out and they suck some into it just like the TV show or the movies, and I really enjoyed that, right? So gameplay wise, it's a lot of running around collecting ghosts. There is like an encyclopedia, so to say, in the game. So you press pause or the menu button and it shows like a compendium of all the different ghosts you've encountered and a little bit of backstory about them, which is interesting. There are different weapons. I want to say there's like a handful of different weapons that you're going to use. And as you gain experience, you're able to apply experience points to upgrade them. You can either increase like the duration of a PKE stream, or you can enhance some abilities around it, or whatever. So I like that too because that kind of helps with the logical progression of the game. I guess some of the enemies become a little bit more tough. You also have a little bit more additional firepower to hold your own and scale with the difficulty of the game. So it's built in a fair way. It's not like there's any enemy encounter that's like overly difficult, will make you rage quit. Nothing that felt unfair. So it all felt pretty well balanced. Now, in terms of the technical aspects, I did play this on the Xbox 360. As I alluded to earlier, it's out on pretty much every console, every computer way of playing this. So, I mean, you could probably get better graphics in either a PC or like a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X sort of build. Again, though, playing it on Xbox 360 was fine. I mean, I really enjoyed the experience with it. I personally, I don't measure frame rates and crap. I don't really care about that. For me, though, there was no noticeable drops of frame rate. It ran smoothly, ran like I expected it to. The colors and all, I gotta say, were pretty vibrant, especially with like some of the laser beams being emitted or like different colors like auroras emanating from the ghosts. I liked all of that, right? So it was visually appealing in terms of what I was seeing on the screen of the game. And then in terms of sound quality, I loved the sounds, right? So you've got throwbacks to like the movies. You got the sounds that like the Ecto One Ghostbuster mobile makes. Slimers, their ghosts made a lot of the same sounds that you'd expect from the movies. And then, of course, the standout with this game is the voice acting. So it's a really big perk or takeaway that the original actors who were in the films lent their voices here for this project. And this game is all the better because of it. Like, not only is it the same vocal delivery, it's the same delivery of the joke. Like the timing, the comedic influences, the sarcasm. It's all captured perfectly by the voice actors who did it themselves in the movies, and I love this for that. I think that's honestly one of the strongest parts of this game, and one of the strongest areas that makes it stand up on its own, instead of just being like a clone rip-off of the movies. So in terms of replayability, I played this over the course of a few months. I can't really remember what you can do after you beat the game. I mean, for me, is it a game that I'm going to go back and play again, multiple runs? No, but truthfully, there are very few games out there that I've played multiple times since I've beaten it. So it's not really fair for me to like knock it because of that. I feel like there are different challenges though, like if you want to complete your Ghost Compendium or work on upgrading all of your weapons, sure, you can do that. But for me personally, after I beat the game, which I thoroughly enjoyed, I didn't really see any reason or anything compelling me to go back and play it again. So for that, I don't really think it has a lot of strong replayability, but of course, I mean, you don't own a lot of games and you're really a big Ghostbuster fan, I mean, have at it. You can spend all the time you want with this just playing it over and over. So my final thoughts on this game. This game, again, playing it natively on Xbox 360, visually beautiful. And I can only imagine that that feeling enhances as you play on more modern technology. The colors were vibrant, the sounds in the game are great, the voice acting is outstanding. Now, for me personally, I could follow the story, but the story had just enough tie-ins with the movies, which the movies I haven't seen since probably the 90s. You know, it's been a long time. It's been 20 plus years since I've seen these movies. So for me, some of the references might have been lost on me or maybe gone over my head. I could easily remedy that by either reading Wikipedia behind the scenes, rewatching the movies, whatever. It's really not that big of a deal. But for me, someone who's kind of casually a fan of Ghostbusters and not really a die-hard fan of it like I am, maybe Batman or Spider-Man or something like that, I don't know. So I felt like there was a little bit of a gap in terms of my ability to kind of follow the story, but I'll blame that on user error, not publisher or game developer problem, right? So trying to be fair here with that. Also, the other thing was, like, because I was having trouble following parts of the story by my own design, it also took me a little bit longer to complete the game than maybe I would have, because, like, other people I know that played this love it, swear by it. Seems like it's one of those games where if you sit down with it, you could probably knock it out in, like, a solid week, or maybe even a long weekend if you're really committed to it. I took my time with it, picked it up, put it down, but that's also what I do. I play like 12 games at a time. I constantly rotate through what I'm playing, and based on what I'm feeling like. Ghostbusters, the video game, is a great game. It is a good standalone entry to the Ghostbusters IP, and it has strong tie-ins to the movies. I thought, though, at times the pacing got a little bit slow for me, and admittedly, too, this is more of a personal thing. I'm not as big a fan of sarcasm as other people, and this game is full of it. Like the dialogue between like Dan Aykroyd and some of the other Ghostbuster characters and your unnamed protagonist, chock full of it. So some of that for me seemed a little much at times, but again, not that big a deal. This is still a solid game. If I had to give this a score, I would rate Ghostbusters the video game an 8 out of 10. It is a great game. It is a solid game. And if you're a fan of Ghostbusters or spooky things in general, ghosts, goblins, whatever, definitely check this out. I believe this is still a pretty cheap game. Whether you're looking for a physical copy of it or even a digital copy, it's still readily available. And it's a fun time as well. I don't think you'll be disappointed with it. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Ghostbusters the video game. Have you played this game before? What do you think? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. That really helps me out, lets me know you like this content. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.